All right, hello everybody. Today we're going to be doing the introductory class for R programming. I've taught this once before, so hopefully it'll be a little more streamlined this time. It got a good grasp of how to explain it. So all the class materials are available at this website. I'll just go in and show you guys real quick, just to make sure you know where to go. So you go into data science classes, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, the R programming class PowerPoints, code, and data. Do not open it in a new tab. It will not work. So if you go here, click on class 1. This is going to be the introductory class, and everything should be available here. After I have this class, all the editing done, the video will be available here as well. Okay, so I will get started with the actual material. So the beginning of this class, I'm just going to be going over in general what we would be learning if you would stick with this. So I apologize, it's not cooperating. There we go. So what we'll be learning are the basics of R programming. So I try, when I do this course, to give you guys enough background and material that you would be able to figure most things out on your own by the end of the class. So in the introductory part, I'll be talking about, in the next class, data types and structures. And then I would move on to indexing with vectors and data frames. And then I would move on to a class that goes over just basic data, getting a bird's eye view of your data, those functions, merging, if-else statements. So that would be after that, and then graphing would be the last one. So the graphing class I'm actually doing pretty soon, but I don't recommend taking it unless you have a pretty firm grasp of how to program in R, because it is a lot more complex than the material I'll be showing today. So my background, I have a little bit of an unconventional data science background. So I have a double BA in political science and psychology from Swarthmore College. And then I got my master's in public health with a specialization in health policy analysis from Washington University in St. Louis. Health policy analysis has a lot of econometrics in it. So the skills that you learn when you learn econometrics are directly applicable to doing statistics and data science work. So I worked, as it says here, as a statistical data analyst at Washington University for a year and a half. It was not for me, so I moved into the data science field. I was a data science contractor at Bayer Crop Science for about a year and a half as well. And that was my first data science job, and I really loved it. It was definitely what I wanted to do for the foreseeable future. So I really enjoyed the predictive analytics and the complex programming and statistics. And then currently I'm a data science analyst at Whole Foods Market. So the first class I taught was actually an internal one within Bayer Crop Science. I moved here recently and I really had enjoyed doing it for crop science. So I decided to keep going with it as a public course. So that's what we're going through with today. So I already said a lot of this already, but this is kind of the outline. And I think after teaching this one time, I have a much better grasp of how long things are going to take. So these class 1, class 2, and class 3 are already, all the materials are already on my website in the user guided tutorial area. There are no video up yet. I'll put that up after I do the class, but all of these materials are already available, what will make up my slides for the classes. And these will be up soon. So, and I will be posting video there as well. So if you decide to stick with this, I actually just did the dplyr data manipulation class, and I will repeat a lot of these as time goes on. So after graphing and the introductory material, classes are done, I'll move on to data manipulation with dplyr. It allows you to do a lot of the things that I'm going to teach in introductory are do them more efficiently and in fewer lines of code. I'd say 90% of my coding is written in dplyr, but it is a lot more complex. So it takes some time to get used to the basics, and then you can move on to that. The other things that I would be covering after the introductory would be string manipulation with string R. So basically pulling out patterns, manipulating character variables and strings. Looping, which loops through your data how many number of times that you specify, and repeats all of your code for different groups or different rows in your data. And then user-defined functions. Basically, in R, you use functions to perform simple or complex functions, or you can tell it to do something. So for instance, if you're finding the mean is a function. If you're performing a linear model, a linear model LM would be a function as well. So R allows you to, when there isn't a specific function that does what you want it to do, you can create user-defined functions, even if there's several different steps that you're putting in it, and then you can actually loop it over groups as well to avoid looping, because looping is not efficient. So that one is actually coming up, but like I said, I don't recommend taking these 4 classes unless you have a good grasp of R programming. So eventually, probably in the new year in 2020, I will be getting to some of the really fun, somewhat difficult concepts, R Shiny, coding predictive models, and parallel programming. Parallel programming allows you to run multiple iterations or multiple functions at the same time to make code go faster. So that would be what the intermediate